Alright, aloha everyone. This is going to be my little follow-up video for Bootcamp 201. Now, there should, if you're watching this, you should also have a link for Bootcamp 101 as well as the scale exercises, the different variations with the straight up and down and alternate G, all that kind of stuff. If you haven't, definitely send us an email and I'll get you those links right away. Now, Bootcamp 201, and sometimes I don't get, we don't have the time to completely introduce everything in the class. So this is gonna, this might be a review, this might be an introduction. So I'm gonna go a little bit slower in this little review here. Now, one of the things we're gonna push is really utilizing those hammer-ons and pull-offs to create even more texture and sound in our playing. Now, the hammer-on, of course, is using that left hand to smack down another note. Which is, why we did those scale exercises with the hammer-ons and pull-offs. Pull-offs is, again, plucking the string with the left hand. Now, one of the things that we're going to start to kind of dive into, let's say we're playing a chord, like a G chord. And one thing that I can really do to help manipulate this chord is using my middle finger on the A string. I'm going to take it off. So I have G, the second fret on the C, the third fret on the E, which is all normal, but the A string will be open. Okay, so let's do a down strum. And what I'm going to do is take that middle finger and hammer on where it should be for the actual G chord. So I'm going to do a strum, hammer, the middle finger. Okay, so let's use our index on the right hand. So down, hammer. Now from here, I'm going to take my thumb on the right hand and do a pluck on the G string. Down, hammer, thumb. 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 Now I'm going to add an up. Down, hammer, thumb, up. Down, hammer, thumb, up. Down, hammer, thumb, up. Good. Now we're going to add down, hammer, thumb, up, rest, up, down, up. Down, hammer, thumb, up, rest, up, 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 down, hammer, thumb, up. Good. Now we're going to switch to a C chord. Now we're going to hold down that second fret and we're going to hammer on that third fret. So here it's going to be holding down the middle, down, hammer the 3, thumb, up, rest, up, down, hammer, thumb, up, rest, up, down, hammer, thumb, up, down, hammer, thumb, up, rest, up, down, hammer, thumb, up, rest, up, down, hammer, thumb, up, rest, up. Good. So we have the G chord, down, hammer, thumb, up, rest. Then C chord, down, hammer, thumb, up, rest. Let's go back to the G, down, hammer, thumb, up, rest, up, down, up. Now the D chord, the finger that I'm going to manipulate here is my ring finger on that E string. So ring finger is going to come off, down, hammer, thumb, up, rest, up, down, hammer, thumb, up, rest. So now, as we're going through, so G, C, G, D are the chords. All the same kind of progression of down, hammer, thumb, up, rest, up, down, hammer, thumb, up, rest, up, down, back to G, and then we're going to go to the D, down, hammer, thumb, up, rest, up, down, hammer, thumb, up, rest, up, down. So you can already see how, compared to down, then up, down, really adding. Is very similar to down, down, up, down. But it's because of these selective little techniques that we're adding in there, gives it a different type of feel and much more intrigue than just straight strumming. Now, let's focus on those pull-offs. So this time, we're going to hold the G chord, but hold down the pinky on the 3rd fret of the A string. So here's my G chord, pinky on the 3rd fret of the A string. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to strum down, my pinky is going to pull off, and then my middle is going to pull off. So again, holding down the pinky, down, pull the pinky, pull the middle. So this is usually the hardest one to get a clean pull off. So we're going to practice for a second using your middle finger and just plucking that open A string. Now really focus on getting the angle from your index to really curve around that A string so that it is ringing free. Because once we get that, then pinky on the 3, down, pull, pull, and then thumb on the open G. So again, holding on the pinky, strum down, pull the pinky, pull the middle, pluck the G. So we can do down, pull, pull, thumb, rest, up, down, pull, thumb, rest, up, down. And where you can hear how that has a nice kind of cascading feel to it. For the C chord, we're going to walk down the 3 and the 2, so it's going to be holding both the 3 and the 2, strum, pull the 3, pull the 2, and then open G. Back to G. And this one we're just going to pull off that ring finger, down, pull, thumb, up, rest, up, down, pull, thumb, up, rest, down. So already you can see how much we can manipulate just by either adding pull-offs or hammer-ons to some of our chords. And again, if you don't, have the experience of, being able to find your scale notes very easily, one of the things you can do, if you're in the key of G, experiment with putting down a finger on a certain fret, and if it works, repeat it. And if it doesn't, let's say, okay, I'm never going back to that 4th fret. It doesn't really work. So I'm gonna 3 or 5, 3, 2, open. But a lot of that is this very small manipulations with your chord shapes, just to see if you can add some of this extra movement in there. So again, and then you can again always mix and match, experiment now with different hammer-ons and pull-offs. But again, that's where we're gonna get tons of more variations and a lot more sound when you're playing. So this is again the big one for now to really kind of push forward and get that foundation is first working on those hammer-ons. Down, hammer, thumb, up, rest, up, down, hammer, thumb, up, rest, up, down, hammer, thumb, up, rest, up, down, up. And then the pull-offs. pushing off from there. Now, another fun thing that we can do with hammer-ons is a technique called outlining your chord. So, for example, if you're playing a G chord, 0, 2, 3, 2. So that's fret numbers starting with the string closest to you. So the G chord, again, first string closest to you, open, then second fret, then third fret, then second fret, 0, 2, 3, 2. So outlining the chord means if I start on the A string, the major technique here is going to be pluck, hammer, and thumb on the G string. So if I want to end up, with the chord, the G chord, so 0, 2, 3, 2. So on the A string, I want that 2. So to outline it, I'm going to start one fret below it. So I'm going to start on the 1. I'm going to pluck it, hammer the next fret up, and then follow that with thumb on the G string. So pluck, hammer, thumb. Now, the E string, the fret I want to end on is the 3rd fret. So I'm going to start now on the 2nd fret. Pluck, hammer to the fret I need, and then thumb. Pluck, hammer, thumb, pluck, hammer, thumb. C string is back. I want the 2nd fret, so I'm going to start on the 1st. Pluck, hammer, thumb. So, again, I want 2, 3, 2. So that means I'm going to hit the 1 to get to the 2, hit the 2, hammer the 3, hit the 1, hammer the 2. And I'm going to use my 2 strongest fingers on my left hand for this technique. So I'm always consistent. So 1 to 2 on the A with the thumb. So again, it looks like this. 1, hammer 2, thumb. Next string, 2, hammer 3, thumb. Next string, C string, 1, hammer 2, thumb, and back. Oop. Now let's say I want to do another chord. Let's say the C chord. Now again, the C chord I'm going to play looks like a B flat, but 2 frets up. So the bottom 3 strings, the frets that I need is 4, 3, 3. 4 on the C, 3, 3 on the E and the A. So that means for the A string, I'm going to start on the 2. Same thing, hit, hammer, thumb. Then start on the 2 of the E string, hit, hammer, thumb. And on the C string, I'm going to slide up to the 3rd fret so I can hit and hammer the 4th. So 2 to 3, 2 to 3, 3 to 4. So this is a technique that you'll definitely be able to kind of start and even use for fills or start a solo. So to me, this is definitely used in many different ways, but I like to use it when we're doing some of the country kind of folky stuff. It's a fun pattern, and to give a different kind of take on it, what we're kind of emulating is when we take a chord like a G chord and we kind of slide it down half a step and slide it back up. And even with that C chord, I'll leave the G open for now, but 0, 4, 3, 3. You can kind of hear that nudge, right? So that's kind of what we're emulating, but one note at a time, or one string at a time. Okay, so that's another great way to utilize the hammer-ons that we've been pushing up to now as well. Now, one last thing, besides all the different scale exercises and all the different hammer-on kind of foundation building and pull-off, are the harmonics. Now the harmonics, again, the easiest place to do them is that 12th fret. And what we're going to do is that we're going to put our middle finger and we're going to touch over the actual 12th bar. So not in between the frets as we normally would, but over the actual metal part. See that there? So over, let's see, right about there. So, and by touching, I mean not even bending the string. You're literally just touching the strings. So you shouldn't see your string move at all. All right, now, so we talked about how we can do a bar, or one finger at a time first, middle finger going over one string at a time. So again, when you hit it and you find that nice spot, then you can give it a good whack and let go. So this is compared to open strings. This is with the harmonic. It has a nice chime sound, right? So using the very tip of your finger on the left hand, again, barely touching the string itself. You're not going to see it really move like this. You just touch. So over the middle 12th fret. Then you can do a bar as well. Now, the one we want to really get into is the one-handed ones, where we're going to use the flat part of our index on the right hand, and again touch that same 12th fret. And you're going to take your thumb from behind, and you're gonna pluck it. So let's say C string, again touching over the 12th fret with your index. Thumb is gonna come behind and actually pluck the string. And for some people, this is actually a little bit easier to do than the two-handed ones. Okay, so again, right hand, touch the C string over the 12th fret, the bar itself, not where we would actually hold the fret. And then right hand is going to pluck it from behind. Now, the great thing about this technique is that not only can you use it in, songs like now that A minor 7 here works nicely over an A minor chord. Now, the great thing about doing the one-handed ones is that we can do any notes that we want. So all we have to do is, again, find that middle. So if it's open, we can hit that 12th fret for a nice octave jump. But let's say we want to hold a G chord. All you have to do is, again, match what you're doing with the left hand. So on the G string, because it's still open, I can still pluck that 12th fret on that G and still get my nice harmonic. On the C string, starting from the 12th, I have to match how many frets I'm playing on the left hand. So because my index is touching that 2nd fret, from the 12 here, I have to go 2 frets down this way. So from 12, 13, 14, that's where my harmonic will be. 3 frets up for the E string, so on the 15 on my E string, A string 2 up, so back to the 14. So I can go 14, 15, 14, back to 12 on the G because it's open. If I'm doing my C chord, the strings closest to me again is open, so 12, 12 again, 12 again since they're open, and 3 frets up, so 1, 2, 3 to the 15 on the A string. So when you're doing something like the rainbows, Somewhere the Rainbow, you can, so for the F chord, I had an open A, so I'm 12, E string, 1st fret, so 13th, 1 up, and then C string, because it's open, back to 12. So I can use this to, use for introductions. Start going into a song like that. So again, this is that kind of foundation work for getting used to those one-hand harmonics, and we can always push much more from there. So that will definitely be in future workshops as well, but that's just to get you started. All right, so good luck. Keep us updated how everything's going. Don't be afraid to tackle one little section at a time and keep up with your scale work. See you soon. Aloha.